sorry, I forgot. See, uh, earlier we have studied about the positioning system. If someone is waiting in the lobby, then please unmute and ask me to join. I accept. No one is here. So, okay, let's take it this way. When we are machining the part, obviously we have to hold it before machining. And where do we hold it? On the work table. And it is not like simply we put the part and we are done. No, we have to put the part at right position, in right orientation. Then we also we need to have also a strong and rigid support, because when we do our machining, there are cutting and clamping forces are involved, and due to that, if the part is not that much rigid, it will deform or deflect. So that's why elastic deflection or deformation under the action of various cutting forces or clamping forces, we have to avoid it. It means there should not be any deflection or deformation while cutting. If it is happening, it means we have to redesign our support system. That's why we need to design a strong and rigid support so that we can do our machining. Okay, so next, as we have already studied, that there are some basic principles, that means we guidelines we follow while designing support system for fixer, support system as a fixer. So in the fixer, the supporting at the bottom surface should be done at least by 3 points. So there are, you see, numbers of fixers, and minimum 3 points should be there to support it. So minimum 3 points. You can have more than 3 points, like, but you need to have minimum 3 points. Then next is strong and rigid support element we need to have. So these are the elements, our supporting elements, pins and fixed pin and adjustable pin. There it comes in various shape and size, with shoulder, without shoulder, and then flat, spherical. So second point, strong and rigid support element we need to have. Then unsupported span should not be large to cause sagging. There are like this. This one is small, like PC board, printed circuit board. This one is small. But if it is large and you apply a cutting force here, sagging is due to self weight. And again, if you are applying a cutting force, it will deform like this. So to avoid it, we need to design our support system in such a way that there should not be any deflection this way. So this is the sagging due to forces, cutting forces. So we need to put the support element pins at right place. And as you can see in this part, support, we have created support here, a clamp from the top. So this one is fixer. This one is tool bodied as a fixer, and this one is your workpiece. So you can see the support system here. Unsupported span should not cause. If we don't support it here, what will happen? if this is the kind of your job, hanging type like this here, and what will happen if you don't use this support? Obviously, due to conducting forces, it will go under deflection. So that is avoidable. We need to avoid this. That's why you need to design strong and rigid support here, and it is. Next, supporting should be keep the blank in stable condition. So this one, somehow if you have designed this way, two supporting pins, and we are applying force here, what will happen? It is not stable. So it is not correct, unstable. And if we have redesigned our supporting pin, that is stable. If you remember, in one talk, one discussion, there was a location, there was a plate like this, and we have designed already. It was two pins here and here, supporting pin, but when it was redesigned, the location of this pin was shifted to here, if you remember. So that was the concept of location of the pins, that pins should be as far as possible, as far as apart as possible. That was the concept, that pins should not be very close, as you can see here. So this one is correct method. Then large flat area or proper recess is to be provided for better support and stable support. This recess you can see, and here you can see space, that is termed as a recess, and here you can also see the space, this much gap. Okay, so when the parts are long, you need to provide the recess, as well as when there is a flat, so you need to give a recess around the corners, because sometimes corner cannot be at right angle, and that will cause the disturbances supporting. Because if this one is taper, suppose this one is taper, what will happen? You know what will happen? There would be mismatch in the dimension, location of the cutting tool, and that will cause the defect piece to be rejected. So that's why when the corners are there, parts is very big, then if it is not, we are not checking the flat, then it is mandatory, because at, at the final stage the uh, outer dimensions are achieved, not at first place. Next, as you can see, cylindrical job should be placed on the V block. As you can see, V block, so there should be there is a gap. And as you know, the what is the advantage of using V block? It automatically aligns the central axis parallel to the V block axis. Rounded cylindrical workpieces should be supported on V block. As you can see, this one is V block as a vices V block, clamp with the vice. Next, as you can see, heavy workpiece with pre-machined bottom surface should be supported on wide flat areas or on flat-ended strong pins or plug. As you can see, if the part is flat, okay, so it should be supported on this. It should be supported on the flat end of the supporting pins. So it is not only flat, it should be wide, not small type. We should avoid like this because the top is very small. So it should be wide. Then if more than 3 pins are required, use spring loaded adjustable pins. So this is, you can see, spring loaded adjustable pins. The same thing I have shown here, spring loaded. What is the advantage? Because this can give you the adjust the position of the workpiece. So spring loaded or adjustable pins are advantages when you have to, there are parts on varying size. Then adjustable supporting pins need to be provided for obviously compensate part size variation, because if the part is one is longer, one is shorter, so how to support the same two different parts having different sizes with the same fixer. So that's why adjustable supporting pins. When the supporting surfaces are large and irregular, obviously, if large and irregular, you we cannot have a fixed pin, so adjustable should be there. And when clamping and cutting forces are large, when clamping cutting forces are very high, it means when you do machining or cutting and cutting force is very high, so for that you need to have the adjustable pin so that it can accommodate the shock provided by the cutting tool, as well as if some cutting forces are very high, it can adjust it, absorb it, in the adjustable pin can absorb it. So as you can see, this at top, this one is fixed type, and this one you can see adjustable type bottom side. These two are adjustable, we can simply rotate it, and these two screw, and we can change the height of the these two top flat end. And here again we can rotate this is nut, and we can simply change the height. So it is like concentric cylinder inside mating, and when we rotate it like this, it will move and it will change the position of the top flat end. I hope it is clear. Then ring or disc type job should be mounted on the mandrel. As you can understand that if the cylinder type job is there, so this one, so this should be mounted on the mandrel. So that's why ring or disc type should be, we should have our mandrel in this type of job. Next, yes, we have, this one is a special kind of indexing mandrel that it will, you can rotate it at angular position like 90 degree, or you have to drill like say 6 holes, not six, say 3 holes here, here and here. So we can easily rotate it. This just I took this picture for indexing mandrel. So it is not given for how many. I am just stating the example that mandrel can be used for the indexing. Like you have to drill 3 holes. So mandrel can give you the opportunity to rotate the part 3 holes for 120 degree. So you can rotate the mandrel 120 degree on a single step. Next is general method of supporting. Again, supporting on vices. Cylindrical parts should be supported on vices or V-block. Same parts can be supported on the vices. You can see we can simply unscrew this one and then part is job is open and we can take out our part. Then supporting at flat surfaces are blocked and supporting by fixed pins. So flat surfaces you can see this one, and by fixed pin you can see this one. And when we are using this one, so you can easily remember the recess and adjustable pin. Then additional support adjustable pin and plugs are screw jack screws where the pin or screw head is gradually moved up and touch the blank and lock the screw nut system. Actually, what it is telling you that when we have to uh, uh, use adjustable system, it should be in such a way that we can change the position, because that's how we achieve the uh, adjust position. We how That's how we achieve the adjust adjusting position of the workpiece. Suppose if this workpiece is coming here, another workpiece is coming up to this length. So how to accommodate this variation in the part? To accommodate it, what we have this one, you simply, yeah, this head, straight head. So simply you can put a straight screwdriver and rotate it. It will come out and this will go down. So the pin, top of the pin will go down. We can adjust it. Another another way what we can do, and here we have this nut also. So if we have to set it right position, after setting this nut at right position, and we will lock it through here. This one is adjust the position. This nut is adjust the position. We will open it or close it. When we open it, this can move. The screw can move up or down, and with the nut, we can lock the set the height. And here you can see this mechanism will give you. It is here like sliding type mechanism. Sliding type. So this here it is the weight of the workpiece, and here when you rotate this one, it will move this side and the pin will go down due to the workpiece weight or cutting forces, and then you can again lock it by turning the head opposite direction. So what we are doing, you are screwing or unscrewing it, and then it is causing to move this one in this direction, and when it will move this one due to this taper, let me zoom a bit. Due to this taper, as you can see this taper line, it will force to go up or go down as per our requirement. So when it will go up, the head of the pin will go up, and head of the if it is going down this way, then it will go downward. That is the advantage of having the slide type of, oh sorry, it should be like this. Mm. this is the advantage of having this mechanism, taper, and this one having this shape. So here we have workpiece size, workpiece, it will go pin is like this. So when it goes down this way, it will forces, we can set the pin location upward, or when we take this way, we can set the pin location downward. I hope it is clear. Again, same concept, this taper mechanism, you can see we will unlock it here as well as here with this spring loaded handle. What we can do, we can simply move this way or this way. If we are moving this way, the taper side will come this way, and due to increase in diameter, it will force the pin to go up, and here we can use it to lock the pin. Again, we can unlock it, this nut, and then due to thread mechanism, when we unscrew it, the pin will go up or down. So these are the concept of adjustable pin, various way we can use these pins. So next is supporting and locating on V block. As you can see, V block having the graded scale and mandrel, we can use it cylindrical and disc type. We can use it here cylindrical job and disc type job. Next is design for clamping. So we need to after design for location, design for support, we need to design our clamping system. Why? Because as we have seen in 3 to 1 location, we were able to fix only, we were able to check or yes, check the only 9 position where plus x plus y and plus z direction were left to checked. Means we were that were free at that time in 3 to 1, and those three x plus y and plus z uh, translation will be checked by that stopped by clamping. So we will achieve the clamping. And what are the various guidelines? So these are the guidelines. You can see the clamping should be strong and rigid enough. Hold the block firmly. Correct. The clamping should be easy, quick, and adequate. It should not consume more time, and it should be simple in operation. Clamping should be such that it is not affected by vibration, chatter, or pressure. When we are doing the machining operation, vibration, tool chatter, and pressure will be there. So it should not be affected. Otherwise, what will happen? There will be losing the grip, and then part will deflect by small distance, and then that will lead to part defect. Then method employed for clamping and unclamping should not be hinder the loading and unloading the blank in the jig or fixer. Whatever method we are using for clamping, it should not hinder our loading or loading. Then clamp and clamping force must not damage or deform the workpiece, like we have seen in the clamping forces. Obviously it apply force on the workpiece also, because we have to fix the part, and it should not deform or damage the workpiece if the delicate workpiece is there. If the workpiece is rigid, then no problem, there is no talk about this point. The clamping operation should be simple and quick acting when the jigsaw fixer is to be used more frequently and large volume of work. Like it is stating that when we have to go for the large volume of production, it means it should be very quick. Means simply one or two steps we can unlock it. Like in previous talk, we have seen that there were screws were there, nut were there. We have to unlock it, and then we have to remove the part. It is time taking, and we need to avoid it. So it should be simple and quick acting because we have to work with the large volume. Then clamps which move by slide or slip or tend to do during applying clamping forces should be avoided. Like uh, here, this type, if you are clamping it this way, there is a chance of sliding. But what we have done here, we have used a V block here. So, and in the V block, if we are using the jaw in the V block, then it is fixed. It will not slide. First, we should try to avoid. If we cannot avoid, then we should control it. Clamping system should comprise less number of parts for ease of design, operation, and maintenance. It means we should design our clamping system having the minimum number of parts. Then bearing parts should be hard or hardened and also be easily replicable. Those parts which are going under wear should first it should be hard enough so that less wear, and if it is going under wear, it should be replaced easily. It means it should be available easily. Available as well as setting the part in the fixer also. Clamping force should not act on heavy parts and against supporting and locating surfaces. So as you can see, the clamping force should not act on heavy parts. No, sorry. The clamping force should act on heavy parts and against supporting and locating surfaces. It is the same way that wait a minute. You use supporting pin here, and see this one is part side, and your clamping head should come rightly above the supporting pin in this way. This one clamping force and your supporting system. So it is like this. The heavy system clamping force should act on heavy parts and against supporting and locating pin. It means it should against the same way I told it. Then clamping should be away from the cutting tool. It means if it is near to cutting tool, it will hinder in our cutting operation. So we should be avoid while designing the fixer that clamping should not be near the cutting area. Then clamping method should be foolproof and safe. Obviously, whatever we are going for the clamping, it should be foolproof. It should be checked and it should be safe. Clamping must be reliable but also inexpensive. Obviously, if it is costly, then it is it will lead to increase in the cost of the product. So it should be reliable as well as inexpensive, less costly. So again, what are the various clamping method? So based on the application, there are two types of clamping method. Common type, where without much consideration of clamping speed, or in other sense, you can see the time and force requirement. You don't need to consider, especially the time requirement. Here, time requirement is very im- important. So for that, in two category, here it will consume a bit time. So speed is slow. Here quick acting, you can one or two step you can remove the part, but here it will take more time. So in general type, a common type or general type, first is the screw operated straps clamps, that is called under strap type. So you can see this one is the workpiece, and you can see the spring loaded mechanism, and here strap you can see clamping bar. What you will do, you will simply unclamp the clamping knob, and after unclamping the clamping knob, what will happen, you can move this clamping bar upward, and the clamping force is removed and you can take the part out. Let me explain you once again. Here what you do, here you can see here this one is fixed pin, so it will not go this way. Reason is because due to cutting, workpiece also apply force, and there is a possibility to this clamping bar go upward, but as it is fixed bar, uh, a single body, so with having this pillar pin or supporting pin here, the, this one height is fixed, it will not move again. Once you have set the clamping bar on the workpiece and you have tightened the clamping knob, it is fixed. Obviously you will use when we are going for the tightening the parts, so generally we use washer. And so after tightening, work is fixed, you have applied the force, and you have checked the which direction, here z axis. In this way, to remove it is simply turn the knob in opposite direction, and this there will be a gap in this, so part it can move slightly upward and then you take the part out. Same way here with this pin, uh, here thread mechanism is there, internal external threads here on the this screw external thread, and inside this clamping bar internal thread. So when you move this way, what will happen, if you are moving this way and it is fixed, here it cannot go downward, so it is fixed, so either there would be some relative motion, the clamping bar or strap you can say, and the screw of the on this screw and clamping bar, because it cannot go this way. So if you are turning it right, clockwise direction, when we observe from the top, so what will happen, see, this will go move downward, and this part will come upward side, and due to this fulcrum action that is mounted on the pin, if it is going upward, this side will come downward like this, it will shift the position from straight to this end will go downward. That's how you achieve the locking the part in the clamping. I hope it is clear. Clamping from side for unobstructed through machining. So as you can see from the from all this diagram, that when we have to do machining work at the top, so we cannot clamp it from the top. So what are the other option? To clamp it from the sideways. So this sideway clamping will facilitate us to lock the position in plus x and plus y direction. And now you can understand that we have achieved the 12 degree of freedom. 3 were left, z, x and y. So how do we achieve locking mechanism? Let me explain you here. See what we have again here, it is fulcrum type. This will have, we have a pin here, so we can set the position of the fulcrum with respect to this body of the fixer. So this pin will go in this way so that we can adjust our position. Now see here, as it has having the fulcrum mechanism, so if we rotate the head of the screw in this way, what will happen? It will come out. See, when we are rotating it clockwise, it will come out. So when it will come out, wait a minute, concept is simple. There would be a relative motion, and if this one is going this side, it will go this side. Okay, so when you rotate it, this one, when we observe it from here, from this side, when we observe it, what and rotation is this way, counterclockwise. So no, sorry, in particular case rotation is clockwise. So in clockwise this will go, since it cannot go inside, so obviously this part will come this way. We are rotating it clockwise and we are observing from here. So in rotation, only relative motion between threads, and that relative motion will cause to shift the position of the fulcrum, or you can say strap or clamping bar. And then if it is, obviously there should be relative motion, so you are clockwise, so it will come this way and you can lock it. It will force the workpiece from side. Again, another method is, this one is very quick. You can see simply here you can turn it and it will change the relative position between the clamping bar and this screw. So if you are turning, this clamping bar is going down, it will lose the workpiece, and if the clamping bar is coming up, it will grip the workpiece. Again, this is the fulcrum of the clamping bar. Then we have socket head, this one, tap screw. What we can, again simply we put our spline key here. Spline key, because socket head, it means it is having groove here on the top of this head. So to open or close it, we need spline key. So it simply, again you can see the dotted line indicates there is a thread. So thread is internal thread in this bar and external thread on the screw. And here you can see the spring loaded is also, spring has been also used. So when you turn or rotate it, what will happen? It will simply cause to go this way, relative motion between clamping bar and screw, and then if it is relative motion, it will come down, and when it will come down, obviously it will apply more force. and you can simply see this one is wing nut. Simply unlock it quickly by hand and put this clamping bar and lock it. So all these methods are from the clamping from the sides. Next is clamping by swing plate. That is used generally where when we are dealing with the small size parts, simple, and where less forces are required in the machining operation or clamping operation. So we should go for this. So simply what we have this wing nut, simply we will turn it, okay, and it is, let me tell you a bit. Let me discuss you this one. See what we have. See what we have here. See, here we have a fulcrum point, okay, and here we have this lock arrangement and this wing nut. So when we remove it, when we unlock this wing nut, we will take out. We will take out this part, wing nut completely outside, and then, oh sorry, wait a minute, not completely outside because we need to only the lose the grip to remove it the part. So we will turn it, grip will be loosened, and then since we are using a locking mechanism, this is the workpiece and this is your body of the fixer. So that is having a, uh, a simple locking pin. Simply this pin we will take out by sliding, and then sliding out, simply pulling up, okay, and then the clamping bar we will turn it this way and part is taken out. So what I told you here that there are two methods to lock the part. One is this with this wing nut and another is here to a simple pin. Simple pin is only locking the part at this end, and then we unlock it, and this bar in top view it has shown here. So we will turn it here. As you can see, this one is having open space. So we can directly turn it here and part is open to take out. And same way we have to lock it. We have to bring it back, lock it here and put the pin here. And same thing here. The same concept, this part concept has been used here. Simply it is having, I am drawing the top view, it is having this type shape in the top view, this strap. So simply you will lose it and loosen the wing nut, and you can put you can take it down this bar, and then you can take this clamping bar upward. So it is like you are taking one thing down, or one part down and one part upward, and you have taken this way and your part is free to take out. So what we are applying is swing mechanism. Swing like from position 2, if part is from this position of partner, not part, clamping bar, it means we are swinging the clamping bar to unload the part. So this one swing mechanism in vertical plane, as we have seen that this part is coming down and this one was going upward, and this one is horizontal plane. This was, as you can see, only horizontal movement. This one clamping bar is going. So other conventional clamping methods are vices like drilling and milling. We have, we can lock it on the vices. Then we have magnetic chuck. You can see on, off, currently at off position. You turn it on. This will hold the uh, parts with it. So magnetic chuck. There is a mechanism like when we supply electric, it will produce the magnetic field. It will the whole body will be magnetized, and it is not like you can remove it without of turning off. You cannot remove it. It is having very high force, magnetic force. Probably you should see in your lab if you get time. Then chuck and collet for the lathe work. As you can see, the chuck lathe work, you are working with the different side diameter. So you will have the chuck and collets for lathe type work. Sorry, again collets, and so here I have completed this part. Only small part is left in clamping method. Okay. So if you have any query, you can ask me.